This is WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
Good evening, live right here on the CW. I'm Sam Dick.
And I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We have a jam-packed show for you on this Friday, including Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and Dave Baker with the Sports Buzz.
I love when the UK basketball players go out to the schools and they act like kids. And they are kids. Like one of the players, I think, is 17. So we got something on that coming up.
The students at the elementary school had a blast today.
They did. Trending right now, speaking of that, it is not every school day that elementary students get to play with the UK men's basketball team. These are some shots today from Picadome Elementary School. Find out why the players, see them, look at that, visited the school coming up. They really had a good time.
They really did. Also trending now on WKYT.com, the most clicked on story remains this week's death of a northern Kentucky man after being gorged by a bull. Our WKYT investigation into Casey's Law, plus a deadly crash that has shut down a Scott County road.
And here's what we're following right now at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. No work, no teach. Teachers striking at a Lexington daycare. They say they have not been paid in nearly 2 months.
We're losing a generation. You know that as well as I do. Losing a generation. I mean, I'm going through kids that are my children's age.
President Obama launches a proclamation to fight the heroin crisis, but is it enough? Hear what a Kentucky leader has to say about the plan.
Also, the iPhone 7 hitting stores today, and Apple fans wasted no time. See what links fans in the area went to get their hands on one. In fact, one guy, I think, came all the way from St. Louis, Jennifer, to stand in line.
I'm all about new technology. I have an iPhone, but I would never wait in line for a phone.
I brought mine because I'm going to tell you about a tweet later, but this is nothing close to Chris Bailey to an iPhone.
It's a little smaller than the 7.
This is really outdated. I'm sorry.
Listen, Apple Store's still open for a little while, buddy. All right?
I'm running right now.
You can get on out there, but if you're going out there, and a lot of folks are heading out to high school football games right now. We got some scattered thunderstorms that may interrupt a few of those games out there, and that's what we're going to focus on as we roll our way into the evening. Scattered being the operative word, nothing that is terribly widespread out there, but that's going to be the trend as we go through the next little bit. We look outside right now. Defender Radar Network is indeed picking up on these hot spots of thunderstorms. Covington area, southern parts of the region, and not too far away from Elizabethtown. This action is just kind of floating around out there. Up close and personal into southern Kentucky. Look at this action to the north of London. Get into southern parts of Jackson County, just to the west of Anvil and McKee, parts of Rockcastle County, Somerset. Strong thunderstorm heading toward Monticello as well. We'll take you up close and personal on that one. Go to the north. Those are slow movers that are out there. What about the Lexington metro area? Some stuff east of Richmond. Lexington itself in pretty good shape, though a little light rain off to our west. Guys, we'll continue to watch some showers and storms that are going up to our southwest. And when I come back here in under 10 minutes, we'll track a big cold front into town for Saturday and Sunday.
We'll see you then, Chris. An unusual sight for parents dropping off their children at a Lexington daycare. Teachers on strike in the parking lot.
Teachers at Bracktown Academy say they haven't been paid in weeks, but administrators say it's all because of technical issues. Our Lauren Miner has both sides. This is our top story at 6:30.
A group of teachers stand outside Bracktown Academy, all wanting the same thing, to get paid.
We have been very patient. We have been told so many different stories as to what's going on.
According to teachers, this is not the first time they have gone without a paycheck. Teacher Tanya Walker says they were just tired of waiting for the issue to get resolved.
I just want the parents to know that we are so very sorry that we had to resort to this.
Some parents were turned away from the academy this morning due to the academy being short-staffed. According to teachers, there were a few employees who did show up to work today. They say those employees did get paid.
I don't understand why some of the checks cleared, some of the checks did not. I don't exactly know what that is, but ultimately it's my responsibility.
C.B. Atkins is the pastor of First Baptist Bracktown Church. He told us today that there is money in the bank and all employees' checks should be cleared.
From time to time, other companies and businesses have payroll glitches, and so this is a glitch for us, but it's a glitch that we will rectify, and we will move on and continue to provide a high-quality service to this community and have good workers that get paid on time.
While money is a big concern for employees, so is getting back to work.
We love this place. We love working here. We love our kids. We love our parents. And we don't want to do this. We don't want to be out here. But at some point, you have to make a stand for what's right, and what's going on isn't right.
In Lexington, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
The academy turned away some of the parents because of the work stoppage. Teachers tell us the academy asked several church members to help out.
It's now been more than 6 hours since a deadly crash shut down several roads in Scott County. It happened this afternoon on US 25 near the Moon Lake subdivision north of Georgetown. Police say a small car and 2 garbage trucks collided, killing the driver of that car. Investigators have not yet released the woman's name. Crews are still working to clean up the scene.
Everything will absolutely be safe. We have a truckload of new soil that's already waiting to be put down, so it will be fresh soil, seeded and strawed like we were never there.
US 25 between Gemini Trail and Rogers Gap Road is expected to be closed for a few more hours. Police tell us one of the truck drivers was taken to the hospital. We don't know how badly injured, and they say the other driver had minor injuries.
New at 6:30, a grand jury believed there was enough evidence to indict 2 people in the murder of a Laurel County couple. 34-year-old Bradley Justin Lawson and 24-year-old Christian Roberts were indicted today. In March of 2015, Donnie and Sharon Jackson were shot to death in their home south of London. Investigators believe they were killed during a robbery.
A generous gift for a Lexington nonprofit hit by thieves. Last week, 2 men stole a lawnmower from the Bob Brown House. That's a housing community for physically and mentally challenged adults. After seeing our story about the theft on WKYT, a nearby Lowe's donated a brand new lawnmower. Wilcox Pools in Winchester also made a donation to the home.
A hearing today for the University of Kentucky's open records lawsuit against its student newspaper. The Kentucky Colonel requested documents related to a sexual assault investigation involving a former professor. But UK denied the request, stating it would violate the privacy of victims. Both sides have agreed on a timeline for the case, and they've allowed Attorney General Andy Beshear to intervene. The AG says that UK's refusal to release the documents violates state law.
Can review them in camera, maintain the confidentiality of those records, and then make a reasoned decision as to whether or not the denial of that inspection or disclosure was valid under the Open Records Act.
UK has a month to file a brief with the court.
Well, the football Cats are back in Commonwealth Stadium tomorrow, going for their first win of the season, and they got a special visitor at practice. Dave Baker joins us with the Sports Buzz later.
President Obama setting aside more than $1 billion to fight the nation's heroin epidemic. We'll find out what that means for Kentucky. Welcome back live to WKYT News here at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
Kentucky could be the next battlefield in the war on drugs. President Obama proclaimed that he wants Congress to fund $1 billion fight against drug addiction, and heroin would be one of the main targets. Kentucky is one of the top 5 deadliest states for heroin. Madison County's coroner knows all too well the deadly consequences.
We're losing a generation. You know that as well as I do. We're losing a generation. I mean, I'm going through kids that are my children's age.
The coroner says he alone has dealt with close to 30 heroin overdoses this year, which is already more than all of last year.
To help us break down the news tonight, WKYT's Kristen Kennedy joins us, along with our investigative reporter, Miranda Combs. She's done a lot of stories on heroin and drug epidemic. Let's first talk with you, Kristen. What does the president's proclamation mean exactly for Kentucky?
Well, this proclamation came out today. In it, he talked about dedicating more than $1 billion to treatment services. We will likely see a lot of that money come into Kentucky because Kentucky has such a huge problem with heroin right now. He also talked about increased access to naloxone.
We have an important visitor coming to Kentucky next week, the U.S. Attorney General. Tell us about her trip and what we know so far about what she's going to do here in Kentucky.
It's great that she's coming here because
Sure.
she really is pinpointing this issue that we're discussing around here in Kentucky. She will be at Madison Central High School speaking to high school students Tuesday morning. She then will go to the University of Kentucky, and when she's at the University of Kentucky, she's going to be talking about a few things. She's going to talk about treatment, she's going to talk about enforcement, and she's going to talk about prevention when it comes to dealing with heroin.
So again, this is the U.S. Attorney General, so a very special visit that we're going to cover in depth. Miranda, I think you're going to be a part of that coverage next week.
Right.
You've done so many stories on the drug epidemic and heroin, breaking up families, and the destruction it's left behind.
And Sam, you know, that's the interesting thing about it. It affects everyone in the family, from the grandparents to the children to the addicts themselves, aunts, uncles. We did a story recently on the number of grandparents taking care of their grandchildren now. That's how far this goes.
This may sound awfully strong, but some of these drugs on the street basically are almost like someone committing suicide. Am I right? Is that too strong?
It was a year ago that we were talking about fentanyl, right? Which was so much stronger than morphine being cut with heroin. I interviewed a woman last night who found her son in the bathroom who had overdosed and died from fentanyl. Now we're talking about carfentanil showing up at UK's ER, which they say is causing police officers to carry Narcan with them out on the street in case they come in contact with these people. So very dangerous.
And we're going to see more stories on this. Kristen, thank you very much, and also you, Miranda. Good work from both of you. You can join the conversation also by just simply leaving your comments on WKYT.com or our Facebook page. Let us know what you think.
All right, I am in the First Alert Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and it is another hot day out there.
It is, but we're getting in on some cloud cover at a good time for a lot of folks out there, right?
It is. There are a lot of things going on, and here's one of them. Check out this live look at Lakeside Live at the mall at Lexington Green. The Greg Finger Band is performing tonight. Lakeside Live offers free live music every Friday and Saturday night from 6 until 9 o'clock now through October 15th. Pets and lawn chairs are welcome. Looks like there's a good crowd out there already.
Yeah, nice little crowd out there. And on a Friday night, you've got folks who are going to be heading out there. You see the clouds in the distance, so it's helping to knock the temperature down a little bit too. And Jennifer, it's Friday night. You got football.
Yes.
We got football all across the Bluegrass State. And we look outside, we can see those clouds that are thickening up on that live sky cam from the station here on Winchester Road. We are looking toward the west and not picking up on precipitation just yet, but at any moment, skies can open up where you live. Look at your Defender radar network. Got thunderstorms that are just scattered, smothered, and covered. Sorry, Waffle House. All across the entire area right now. At least they're not chunked. We get into the E-Town area and point south from there. A couple of thunderstorms, likewise into Somerset, down to the southwest of Monticello. Thunder and lightning showing up here near Mount Vernon, and some thunderstorms are now beginning to flare up across parts of Madison County, Richmond, and into southeastern parts of Clark County, maybe a little part of Montgomery County getting on the action. Carlisle, Flemingsburg, Mount Olivet over toward Paris with some thunder and lightning potential. Lexington, again, just a little cloud cover that is out there. Cold front is still way off to our west. We have showers, thunderstorms that are on a much grander scale for areas right on top of the Mississippi River. That front scoots in here for the day tomorrow and will give us a little better shot for some thunderstorms. No, it's not going to rain all day tomorrow. All right, you're going to have some periods of sun, you're going to have some periods of clouds, and you're going to have some out-and-out thunderstorms that come calling at some point tomorrow. Now, out ahead of any thunderstorm, you get some sun. It's steamy. Those temperatures will be low and mid-80s. Models are going to struggle in trying to time exactly when you get a thunderstorm out there. This is a very coarse model that I'm running here because those high-resolution models kind of struggle in pinpointing where exact thunderstorms will be. Those lower resolution models just kind of paint everything where they think the thunderstorms will be. Sunday, heaviest rain is off into eastern Kentucky. Get us to Monday. Wait, did he really just say get us to Monday? 80 for a high temperature on Monday with low humidity and plenty of sunshine.
I need to find a poncho for the game.
I would take one with me. I don't think it's going to rain all the time. You're going to have some periods of sun where you may just literally kind of roast out there for a few minutes, steamy, and then all of a sudden another storm kind of pops up into the afternoon.
If nothing else, to protect my grandson's cotton candy. When
Yes.
it's wet, it's not good.
That comes first. Protect the cotton candy.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Well, this is a huge weekend for college football. Dave Baker breaks it all down in the Sports Buzz next.
It is time now for the Sports Buzz.
Dave Buzz Baker joining us with a look at what's going on and a special opportunity for some UK elementary school students today.
Yeah, absolutely. Cal's been talking all week long about how he gets these guys involved with the community, and they spent part of the day today giving back to the community as they went to an elementary school. The Cats delivered packages and lunches to 3 Lexington elementary schools. Is that right?
They had fun doing it, too.
They did, and Samira Rayford had a chance to talk to some of the players and students.
Dressed in pride, the students at Pickadome Elementary packed the school's gym. They didn't know why they were there, and they definitely didn't know that a group of Wildcats were coming to play.
It made me happy.
The men's basketball team packed dozens of lunches to deliver to the school. They also talked to the kids about hard work and dedication. Then it was time to play.
It was so much fun to see all of them because I like Kentucky Wildcats.
For some of the players on the team, they told me they remember what it was like when they were kids. So for them, it was easy to be outgoing and playful.
I remember being little and looking up to guys like us who would come into our schools, and it's normal to us, but to them we're like superheroes, right? So it's great to be able to give them that kind of excitement and that little break from class to have some fun and see us on a regular, everyday basis, not just playing basketball. So
the kids were able to show off their skills in a relay scooter race, but once basketballs hit the floor, every Wildcat was up on their feet.
It made me feel excited.
I just hope that they get out of that you don't always have to be serious. Mike's 22, I'm 18, so we're not always serious all the time. And those kids are 11, 10, 9 years old, and you don't have to take everything serious. Sometimes you can just be a kid, and I still have that kid inside of me.
On their way out, the team left one more surprise. Each player signed a pair of basketball shoes for the school. In Lexington, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
And it wasn't just Picadome. Players also went to Cassidy and Lansdowne elementary schools. My son goes to Cassidy. I don't know if he got to see the team today.
Oh, no wonder they got the hook up there.
It had nothing to do with that. But
Joby Hall tweeted, Fox and Monk may be the best guard duo to step foot on not only, Dave, a UK floor, but any collegiate floor.
Saying
Joby
a
Hall.
lot.
Wow, I don't know what is more profound, that statement or Joe B tweeting. let's talk a little football. Cats and Aggies tomorrow. That's Commonwealth. Awesome. Boy, do these players and this fan base need something good to happen in a big way. All right, what needs to happen for this Kentucky team? Here you go. You got to get the running game going. They've got to get aggressive and get the running game going a bunch. Mark Stoops was the most aggressive defensive coordinator in the country when they hired him. He's going to be back involved in the defense. He's got to dial up some action. And you know what? These players have got to have some passion. I hate to say this. I'd like to see players fight on the sideline.
What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I think they win by about 20 plus. All right, now, that's not only that, but this is the first time in the history of the AP poll that the top 3 teams in the country have all been playing on the road against ranked opponents. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other big games. You've got Ole Miss hosting Alabama, number 19 versus number 3. It's huge. It's huge. Alabama has lost the last 2 games. Alabama and Ole Miss.
We're still showing Kentucky because we wanted to talk about the fact that Matt Bradford, Purple Heart recipient, was at practice this week. So now you can go.
Part of the heroes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We're just all over the place with all this basketball. All right, so the Crimson Tide, they've lost the last 2 times to Alabama. Nobody beat St. Nick 3 times in a row. Alabama's a 2.5-point favorite. They roll big in this one. How about Ohio State, number 3? They're at Oklahoma, those fighting Bob Stoops, number 14. Ohio State's had to replace 11 guys, 11 starters playing big minutes. This is a must-win for Stoops in Oklahoma after they lost in the opener to Houston. I still think the Buckeyes go on the road and get the win. And finally, how about number 2 Florida State coming to take on the 10th-ranked Cards in Louisville? They say it's the biggest game ever over at the Big Slice, Papa John's Stadium. You know what? Florida State can run the ball. They've got some injuries at running back. I'm telling you, I think Louisville is going to win this football game.
I do too.
I think they're going to win this football game.
Lamar Jackson is just going to make this game. It's going to be his coming out party for that Heisman. He's fantastic.
Is there a favorite? Did I miss that?
What's that?
Who's favored?
Florida State is favored by 4.5, and I think Louisville wins the game outright. College game day is there. Now look what happens. How big a game is it? We talked about Ole Miss and Alabama. Can you show this last graphic for me? I'm upstairs working away. The old man's working away, right? And all of a sudden I get this text, and Maddie Baker is supposed to be networking down at Ole Miss. And she's down there, look at it, she's down there with T-Bone, for God. I'm like, what is this? Maddie Networks? Come on.
You just won Dad of the Night, Dad of the Week for this one, for hooking her up.
But I can tell you, Dad of the Week has a very short shelf life.
All right. Thanks, bud.
You're Dad of the Hour.
All right. On that note, ahead tonight here on the CW Lexington, an hour of Family Feud is next, speaking of the Baker clan. Then at 8, Masters of Illusion, followed by Penn and Teller at 9.
Yes. Then on WKYT, Big Brother at 8, Hawaii 5-0 at 9, Blue Bloods at 10. And WKYT News at 11.
All right, take a look at this. An Apple fan drives all the way to Nicholasville from Illinois just to get an iPhone 7. Talk about loyal.
Wow. Brad Rekemper was first in line at midnight after camping overnight at Fayette Mall, and he got what he wanted. He says the 6-hour drive was a necessity.
They were all laughing at me like I was dumb because I drove hours. Like, you got 80 people here that don't have a reservation and are just hoping that because they're a nice guy that they're going to get the phone, and it don't work like that.
He knows how to make this work. The iPhone 7 Plus and the jet black color of the iPhone 7 were sold out within an hour. Apple shares have been soaring because of the higher than expected sales of the new gadget, and that guy knows what he's doing.
What does that cat do for a living?
But you missed it at 6. He took a hit at weather people.
Weather people.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He's wearing the Elmer Fudd hat and he's taking shots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's broken down on 64
Chris
in
was really
Illinois.
impressed.
Taking selfies, though. With
Outside of Moline.
As long as his phone works.
That's right. Storms this weekend, guys, will be scattered. It's not going to rain the entire weekend. Upper 70s to low 80s for those afternoon temperatures. Got a few scattered storms out there this evening.
Do they not have an Apple store in Chicago?
Apparently not.
I guess not.
Huh?
All right, Big Blue Nation, do your part. Show up tomorrow at Commonwealth Stadium. Game starts at 4, but it's Heroes Day. Get there early so you can show your support.
To heck with the rain.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Support the team. All right.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Have a great weekend.